you have proposed raising the voting age to 25 unless younger Americans under age of 25 pass a citizenship test or they have served at least 6 months of military service or as a first responder, if I'm understanding your plan correctly. Jackie has a question about that plan.
Yeah, sure. I would frame it differently, but I want to hear Jackie's question.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my question is concerning your ideas on raising the voting age. I wonder what that will look like to the high school graduate that does not go to college, that goes directly into the workforce and is paying taxes.
Yep.
And I kind of feel like maybe they won't have a voice.
So let me address this, because I think that one of the things that's true about me as a candidate is most of my support is actually coming from relatively young people. I believe we have to reach the next generation, but I'm also somebody who's not going to pander. I'm going to speak my true convictions, and I would rather lose this election and speak my actual convictions than to win by playing a careful political snakes and ladders. So to be very frank, this I did not poll well. My campaign advisors, they said we have to poll this before it goes out. It didn't poll well. I still said this is important to the future of the country. But the real idea is this. I think every high school senior who graduates from high school should have to and be able to pass the same civics test that every immigrant has to pass in order to become a voting citizen of this country. We require it of immigrants to this country for a reason. You got to know something about the country to actually value that country. Well, it's no accident that we have a crisis of national pride. Less than 16% of Gen Z says they're even proud to be an American. We have a 25% recruitment deficit in our U.S. military. And our founding fathers understood this. You got to have skin in the game to actually play in the game and value that system, or else national self-loathing sets in. So this isn't about Republicans and Democrats. We have to think outside the box and think about how we're actually going to substantively revive national pride in this country. So if we're going to ask an immigrant to know it, as I think we should ask every 18-year-old to know what branch of government the U.S. president leads when they're voting for the U.S. president to lead the executive branch, to know the basics about what our Constitution says about free speech or free expression or freedom of religion. Yes, I think that's a good thing. Now, the question is, how do we implement that? I think there are much more pragmatic ways of doing it. Let's be real. That's not going to happen without a constitutional amendment. And anybody who's selling you that they're going to get a constitutional amendment through is selling you a false promise, because that's a very high bar. But I think part of the role of a U.S. president is to start actual, honest, raw conversations in this country so that we're able to implement far more pragmatic policies. It's going to be driven by governors. I've talked to the governor of this state about it. I've talked to the governors and lieutenant governors, including in my own home state, about it, saying that that should be a part of a basic norm of what we expect of public education, is civic education, so that every 18-year-old knows exactly what an immigrant does when they come to this country. And in part because of my advocacy, that's now happening in states across this country, and I'll be able to set that tone as the next president. And I think this part's really important. I think that the policies that you implement as president or propose, that's really only half the job. For a senator or for a congressman, that's 90% of the job. But for the U.S. president, yeah, the policy binder on day one, that's half the job. Most of those stated policies never get through because Congress isn't going to want to pass them. Certainly, if it's a constitutional amendment, it's not getting through. Reforming the executive branch, that much I can do. But that's half the job. The other half of the job is what Reagan talked about in his farewell speech in 1989. He said, we revived a national character that we lacked when I first took office in 1981. That's what Reagan said. And when I think a lot about what do I want to say when I leave office in January 2033 after 2 terms, that's the real destination, not November 2024, not January 2025 when I take office. January 2033, when my 2 sons are themselves entering high school, my older son will be, what do I want to tell the people of this country that we actually did? Sure, a lot of it will be headcount reductions in the federal bureaucracy. It'll be growing the economy, declaring independence from China. I want to keep us out of World War. But the most important thing I want to say when I leave office in January 2033 is that my 2 sons and their generation, that they are once again proud to be citizens of this nation. And I'm not going to do that alone, but I think the president can play a big role in that, and the kind of tone we set from the top, apart from the individual policies, which I think are important, but may not even be the most important thing for how the next president leads this country. So that gives you a sense for where I'm coming from. Reaching that next generation and reviving civic pride, yes, that's really important to me. And I'm going to be very open to talking to young people across this country to make sure over those next 8 years we're taking many approaches to do it, not just a one-size-fits-all approach. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate that.